All right. Let me just tell you, the hardest part about getting ready to step out on your own to do your own thing is the job breakup. You know what? There's just really no other way to describe it. You can call it quitting your job. You can call it leaving your job. You can call it transitioning out of doing your job. Whatever phrase helps you sleep through the night. The reality is you're breaking up with your job. And most people are like, does it have to be that dramatic? Well, guess what? Anytime you're leaving a job, it is dramatic, depending on the nature of the job. Well, why do I call it the job breakup? Well, because let's start with one fundamental fact. You have a working relationship with your job. Now, not with the title, but you have a working relationship with the coworkers. You have working relationships with your customers. You have working relationships with your supervisors. You've had multiple relationships that you've established along the way when you work there. And guess what happens? When you decide to make the decision to leave that job, you are in essence breaking that relationship up. Well, what does that mean? Well, guess what? You no longer are going to see those employees on a regular basis. You're no longer going to engage with that supervisor on a regular basis. You're now going to operate within a scope and a sphere which is completely different from what you're used to dealing with. Is that a bad thing? No. But the reality is that when you're getting ready to leave your job, we sometimes overlook the fact that all those relationships we have are going to change. Are they going to end altogether? No, that's not necessarily the case. But what's going to happen is the nature of those relationships you have are going to change. Because, quite simply put, you're no longer going to have the benefit of those relationships. But here's the other thing that may be a little taking aback. Breaking up is hard to do because sometimes ugly breakups are easy. I don't want you to take this the wrong way, but think about it like this. Ugly breakups are really easy. Think about it. When you leave your job, and let's say you hated your job. Oh man, you couldn't stand your employees, you couldn't stand your coworkers, you couldn't stand your boss. Those are easy breakups. That's like being in a bad breakup with somebody who cheats on you. You got a great reason to get out of it, so bam. So you cut ties and you haul ass and don't even look back. But what happens if you had a great relationship? Let's say you've been working for the company for 15 years. They've given you bonuses. They've worked with you when your kids were born. They worked with you when you got sick. They've done all these things, and now you kind of feel a sense of obligation to them. You kind of tell yourself, or you feel bad about having to now change the circumstances. Now, the transition out is even more difficult. So now you're in a situation where you're now feeling bad because you feel like you're betraying them. When in essence, when you leave, they're going to get somebody else. And then even the biggest portion of the relationship is when you know you had a long-term benefit. If you're going off into the unknown and starting your own business, you don't know about, well, who's going to take care of them doctor bills? That's going to be you if you're working for yourself. What happens if you need to get time off? Well, you're in charge now. Who's going to cover for you if you're not available? What you're going to find is all those little things that you typically didn't have to worry about that now you do, you're going to start freaking out about because you've never had to deal with them. Listen, I know you don't want to hear this, but I want to tell it to you if you're thinking about going out on your own. You can do this. You can do this. Do not let your long relationship with your prior employer or whatever relationship you have with them make you fearful of breaking up with them. Trust me, sometimes the breakup before you make up to the next level is necessary. You got this. Make it happen.